What is up, guys? We are here back live inside of the Nucleus Hub, and I'm super excited today because we got a very special guest, and
Hello.
she is gonna kill it. She's gonna bring the heat. She's gonna teach an amazing workshop at the Nucleus Nirvana Summer Sizzle and Sweat Experience. So, let me help welcome Maya. How's it going?
Hello, thank you for having me. Happy to be here and happy to be part of the Summer Sizzle and Sweat experience.
It's
here at
about to
Nucleus.
get fun
It's about to get sizzling
and sweaty.
and sweaty for sure. My class isn't as sweaty this time though, so I'm gonna leave it up to the other coaches for that.
So it'll be a little bit more cooled down for the people.
Yeah.
But first of all, I just want to say thank you. We're truly excited to have you here, and I've taken one of your classes before, and definitely it was fun. It was engaging.
Yes.
Definitely a lot of learning as well, and I know that the crowd is gonna really enjoy this.
Very
Especially with the fact as well that you're partnering with Vibram and really pushing this forward. Another big company I'm a believer of and that you've used for a long time. So I'm excited to talk a little bit about that as well on today's show. But start off with you. I want the audience to learn a little bit about you, how you got started, and kind of letting them know where that journey has taken you to where you're at today.
Well, I'm just a young girl from North Carolina. My name is Maya Evans, and I am currently a certified school psychologist. Work with K through 12 students, and that's my primary work right now is doing therapy, doing psychoeducational testing, and different social emotional learning workshops with students and kids, right? So take that, and I'm also a fitness coach and health coach. Anything health and wellness is like my passion, what is my lifestyle. Love to talk to people about all of that. And then I'm also a sponsored athlete by Vibram Five Fingers. So bringing them along with me for this event and getting everyone in to try a pair of Vibram Five Fingers shoes. So all that together, my passions of fitness, mental health, wellness all together is really what I'm here to transform, not only Miami but worldwide. We're going worldwide, baby, with this.
It.
Mental and muscle.
I love it. Mental and muscle. That's a resume right there.
Yeah,
that's
there
a
you
hell of
go.
a resume. I love it, and the combination of it,
Yeah.
just everything that you're bringing forward to it and what you're doing for the community. I think it's fantastic. It's. I think as we set off the show is that as this space keeps evolving, you're seeing it's not just about the physical anymore. There's so much more with it, and there's a huge mental component. So I wanted you to touch upon a little bit about that because I think it's so important, especially with what you're going to be doing as well as how it's incorporated with what you're teaching.
Yeah, so a lot of times in fitness, we're going through the motions for a workout. For a lot of people, this is just a check off the box, right? And so what I really like to emphasize is mindful workouts. And it's not like the yoga, right? There's a lot of mindfulness embedded in yoga, which is amazing. But my workouts, the strength and conditioning HIIT, I really try to bring people's mindfulness not only to their thoughts, but also their body as well. And I think that's very important to, one, get the most out of your workout physically, right? Bringing that mind-body connection and making sure you're engaging the muscles that you are supposed to be working, but also making sure and making the connection to life. So a lot of times we're holding a plank and maybe I said it was going to be 30 seconds and now we're on 45, and that's how life is, right? You think that you're going to be only just in this space for a certain amount of time. You got to endure it, but then something else pops up and then you have to continue a little bit longer and find that mental stability and be able to endure through certain things. So I like to bring that into my workouts as well. And just working out in general releases those endorphins, and we all know about that, right? The kind of the endorphins that it will release as we're sweating and we're increasing the heart rate. And the big thing I like to emphasize is these group events and group workouts and group classes, because not only then it brings in the social aspect as well. That is one of the biggest things when we talk about mental health and being able to build that community, because a lot of things that any mental health concerns will bring is isolation. And so being able to go into these group settings, these group workouts already checks the box of I'm no longer isolated. I'm with this community, and there's these people doing the same thing that I'm doing and doing the same workout that I'm doing. And I also like to bring that into the mental health, that you are not alone when there's certain mental health concerns going on. I'm in a group workout, I can promise you at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in this workout have also felt that stress that you've been feeling this week, have also felt that anxiety, have felt certain things that you are not alone in. So I like to bring all that together when it comes to my workouts.
That's amazing. You know, I think we both can agree on, especially in a society now that we're so driven by technology and the phone everywhere and social media and the internet. Like, it's constantly in your face. Like, I tell people all the time, like, let's not pretend already, guys. We're stuck in the metaverse already. Like, we're literally in it. Like, in virtual reality. Like, we're not. Yeah, they already have the goggles. Maybe not everybody's walking around with the goggles. Like some people are, right? But at the end of the day, like, your phone stuck to your face is almost like putting on a goggle. Like, even if it's not 3D or it's not virtual reality, it's a 2D version of virtual reality. So the fact that it gets you so plugged in and, like, it gets you pushes you away from everybody else, like the actual physical, groups and the social groups, like, long term, that does cause a negative effect on the mind, on the body, and I think some of the stuff that you're doing already helps people to be able to, get out of that, whatever they're trying to escape from. Because let's be honest, a lot of times people get hooked onto stuff, and especially devices or drugs, because it's an escape. So I think that bringing it back to what you're doing, it helps people remove themselves from these things.
Yeah, and I will say that the phone and social media and everything can be a blessing and a curse, and it's all about perspective and how you are able to manage it and to set certain boundaries around it. So I love social media for connection. There's people that I say, like, are my social media friends that I've never even met in person, that are, like, here to support me, and I support them, and I love their content and what they stand for. But it can also easily get you into a dark hole of comparison. And why don't I have, for me as a single woman, like, seeing all these cute little couples and stuff like that, it's like, why can't I have that? So a lot of times it can get you in. It's all about perspective. What is Maya looking for out of it? We'll turn to a dating show. Exactly, right? But no, when you can get into that comparison, so it's all about being able to be aware of that, and then setting boundaries around how long you're on social media, what you're on there for, who you follow, and then still at the end of the day, no amount of, like, just being on social media all day is good for you, like, for anybody. And we do need those interactions, and to be out and getting into these group settings, meeting like-minded people in face-to-face.
So what are some of your, like, tips that you can give to people when it comes to, like, trying to break out some of these, like, patterns that they're in, that they are just stuck and it's like a revolving thing, and you want to get them out to these social events and your workshops, stuff like what are some tips for people to start removing themselves? Obviously, it doesn't have to be completely, but at least a little bit throughout the week, and maybe a few times a month attending something like this or a workshop like yours. What are some tips that you can leave to the audience? So for those that are, like, really kind of feeling really anti, maybe a big event is a little scary at first, and for some people, connecting with just one coffee, going out for, things like that, just something light. And or if it makes you nervous, like sitting face to face with someone, doing something active, getting someone to go to the gym with, and then bringing them to that event. So you have someone that you go with to the event, and maybe it's a bigger event, but you got your person there with you. Or maybe you don't know anybody, which is a lot. When I first moved here, was me, and that's how I connected with so many people, is literally just going places by myself. And yes, it is scary. It is scary. But how else are we going to meet people? How else are we going to get out of that comfort zone and to really grow? And I really am a true believer of, like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be at any given time. And it's on your heart for you to go to this event, go to it. And once you commit to it, stay committed to it. That's another thing, is, like, a lot of us that may feel some type of anxiety going out into an event where we're all good up until couple hours before, never mind, canceled, I'm sick, like, I can't do anything. And so, no, in your head, I've already committed to this, I gotta go, I don't want to go anymore, but I'm still gonna go. That was another thing, like, that I had to tell myself, is it's good, go to it. And I think and right there in itself, it's from experience, right? So just
for sure,
learning from this, because you jumped from literally one state to another,
many
and
states,
you went from another from being in this state, from one city to another city. So definitely changes. It's
Miami Maya now.
There we go. Hey, we got the best city right now.
Yeah. I'm living the 305.
Hey, don't worry, I'm gonna connect you. I'm gonna show you the ropes. But it's one of those things where it's like, going back to your saying, like, just being there and just being present and showing up. I used to tell myself all the time, this was actually one of my old mentors. He was like, back in, I think it was like 21, 22. He's like, look, one of the biggest things you can do in life is that if you're not doing anything productive and or you're just like wasting time on something, or you have the time to do something, it's being put into something that doesn't make sense, and there's something fruitful, an opportunity that can better you, whether it's for yourself, your self-care, or educational, just be there. Like, just be there. And the power of just being there can go so much further in life, because it can bring you the next big business opportunity. It can bring you it can, maybe it'll meet you your life partner. It can bring you new friends. It can bring you so many new things by just being somewhere, because you chose to say, you know what, today, instead of just doing something unproductive or doing the same thing I've been doing over, let me break that and let me show up.
And that comes with like being intentional about certain things. And one thing you just made me think of is when wait, now I just lost my whole train of thought. What was I thinking? That was such a good point too. We may have to come back to it. Yeah, I'm like, can't think of it. Oh, that people think they need to be ready. Like I need to be, making my millions, or I need to have everything figured out. I need my whole business plan. I need my LLC. I need everything figured out before I go to these events. I was going to these events as like ready to learn for the people that are already doing it. So that's a big thing of like, feeling maybe some of that imposter syndrome of when you're going into spaces, knowing that there's going to be a lot of fitness instructors there, a lot of wherever your space may be. Because not everyone here is going to be fitness instructors, but when you're going to the events where you are a novice, come like just with, we call it the beginner's mind in psychology, coming ready to learn and willing to connect with these people that are doing better than you in that moment, but you're coming ready to get onto their level and beyond.
Love that. Yeah. No, and it's so true, and I think that the intentionality behind it is what really is going to set everything apart, right? Because you can show up somewhere and be there now, but if you're not present, you're not intentional with what you're doing there and why you're there, or open to connect with people, and and it doesn't mean you have to be, oh my God, I'm gonna be like crazy bubbly and friendly with everybody, but if you go in there with at least the right mindset of like, you know what, if I meet one person today and I shake one hand and I talk to one person, that's a big step right there. It's one person more that you didn't meet before. That to me, at least from me, like the way I used to do things, I consider myself more like, let me connect with more people. But there are moments, like even being that way, like you get in a scene that you're like, man, like, I don't know as much as these people. Let me kind of sit back, and I remember in those situations, I was be like, you know what, but if I at least interact with one or two people, I'm going to feel like good that I came here. Yeah.
And good places to do that is at the tables, or like whatever type of event it is, at the tabling. Maybe they have food, like literally at the table getting the food, like just make a little comment or something like that. Even just say, hey, that's where I've like even just started conversations with people, is at those tabling. Because it's also like, when we're a little nervous and we like to keep our hands busy, so you're either picking up the flyer or you're saying hey at the same time, or you're picking up the food, it takes the edge off a little bit for some people.
Or we throw a party down here in Nucleus. We get some nice little vibes going on, and then everybody can just different people, put them in each room and create content.
Yeah, we're that. Like, you've got an amazing setup.
There we go.
I love it.
We're gonna force people to create content. But I think it's going back to everything from the beginning. It's just just understanding as the fitness scene and the health scene keeps evolving, there's so much more of a mental element to it. Yeah. And, I just love that you're really tapping into this space and really educating people on it, because it is crucial. And again, we've seen the rise of mental health and other mental issues coming. Like, you're seeing it where people are, stuck, or they just need a way out to be able to better themselves. Yeah. And, I think we can also agree that COVID had a major impact on that.
Yeah. It forced everyone into isolation. It forced people there, like a lot of people's coping mechanisms, as we talked about, are like going out and drinking in the social scene of, especially here in Miami. And so like it forced people, well, people were still outside a little bit here, but it forced a lot of people to be within themselves. And then when we start to, sit in our thoughts and we're like, oh, wait, all that stuff that I was masking by going out, I have to sit with it now. And it's like, there's that. And we talk about mental health concerns, because mental health in general is neither good or bad, right? That's just your health, how same thing, right? But when we talk about those mental health concerns that people have now became like, we call it pop psychology of like buzzwords. There's anxiety, depression. And so there's a lot of these being talked about, but not necessarily by mental health professionals. So that's really what I want to bring to the table, is someone that has this education, Soon you're gonna have to call me doctor on
Love
here.
it.
So.
I love it. You guys heard that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to come back to this video and throw the doctor logo on here.
Right. Oh, can't wait. So, but just coming from a like very psychoeducational, evidence-based background as well, but breaking it down in a way that I know from the fitness side of things is easier to understand and not using such big words.
So now that we're touching a little bit upon this, because now that you just like you got my head going.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a space you know a lot about. I also feel like there's and obviously there's that issue where we know there's, you know, you got the anxiety, you got the depression, you got things that are on the rise.
Yeah.
But I've also seen, and whether you agree or disagree, I've also seen a lot of people use the word depression very loosely, and they don't know what it truly means. Anything to them or anything is I'm depressed, or I'm super in anxiety. So I was gonna say maybe you could shine a little bit of light for also those who might think that in reality it's like no, you're having a problem like anybody else is having a problem. Let's solve
I love
that.
that you said that. Yes.
Right. So I would definitely get to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So those are clinical words. Anxiety is a clinical. Well, there's a clinical way of describing it within the diagnostic manual, and it's typically generalized anxiety disorder. There's different disorders within that anxiety. To get to a certain level of that is several months and several symptoms that you need to be consistently showing. Just you're anxious about a test, that's not a clinically significant disorder, where I think a lot of people, there's a gray blur, what do you say, blurred area?
Or like stage fright and you're
yeah, like those are things that are very common, and that once that stimulus goes away, then you're fine. And same thing with depression, it's past the level of sadness, and it's now again several different criteria, a certain amount of time, and it's affecting your day-to-day and how you live your life. I think we need to get away from using those words, and we need to use, instead of depression, we need to be saying sadness, and instead of anxiety, we need to be saying worry. And those are the not clinical words of that we're, as a psychologist, we're using to diagnose people, because it's not. I also love to say it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay. I like to say it's okay not to be okay right now.
Yeah.
But there's like this whole buzzword of that, and like being able to just sit and be content in your depression. There's a time for that. There's a time to feel, right, and to feel sad. But if you let that time go on, that's when we start to get to that clinical. So I really focus on, yes, we are sad. Let's talk about why you're sad. And now I'm very solution focused. So let's try to get back to where you're not feeling sad majority of the time. Then there's like common sadness of grief and after a loss. And that's a typical life event that is a common response to that. But then again, if we're getting comfortable in that sadness, then that's when it goes to the clinical significance. So for the people out here, please use sadness and worry versus anxiety and depression.
I love that. I think alone, just that whole statement alone in here is a whole diamond of gold and nuggets of opportunity for people to take in and just start applying, because, and it's true, and let's be honest, like choice of words makes a huge difference in the way
in anything, in life communication,
in the way you operate. Like the same thing if you say I can't, well then you can't, literally cannot do it, right? The same way you could say I can. So I think it's the same thing. If you keep saying I'm depressed, eventually you will become depressed.
Yeah, and this is coming from someone that previously was diagnosed with clinically significant major depressive disorder. So I'm not just speaking from like the psychologist perspective. I'm someone that had that and was diagnosed with that and believes that you can overcome that as well. A lot of people think that they when you do get to that clinically significant disorder, there you are stuck there.
Like your world
and so
ends.
And that's the hard part for my job, is because a lot of the clients do think that they're stuck there, and I'm like, no, this is something that we can work on. And yes, we still are going to have those episodes that come and those triggers, but now we're learning different solutions and learning how to be aware of it and anticipate it and have better coping methods for
that.
it.
So what is as we start wrapping up, what are some external and internal symptoms when it starts getting to that point where it's transitioning into something more clinical?
Yeah, so that is looking at your day-to-day functioning, and if you're starting to not enjoy certain things you really used to enjoy. For me, it was the gym, and like I love going to the gym, I love working out, but when I'm not, it's just for several weeks at a time, right? This is not just one day that you don't feel like going, right? So it's several weeks at a time when you don't feel like doing things you used to enjoy, when you are either gaining weight, or for some people it might be losing weight because you're not eating. You could be overeating. So any changes in that eating, it can be you're staying in bed, going away, like feeling socially isolation, feeling hopeless. You're starting to think that, what am I even here for? What am I doing with my life? So starting to feel that hopelessness, pushing people away and not really no reason to do so, can be some things that you may notice.
No, I think all amazing tips, for people to take away. So it's like they truly start realizing, okay, have I entered this stage yet? Because maybe they haven't, and they realize, okay, so I'm not.
Yeah. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention, like, for those that are very extroverted.
Yeah.
And because that was myself, doing kind of things that are different from what you would normally do. So for me, it was doing more like risky behaviors, being out more and going to try to like go being in the club scene and stuff like that. That really wasn't me, and hanging around people that weren't. I still got that social aspect, but these were not my typical people. And people that were doing things that weren't so great. So seeing that change in your behavior in that way versus some may just really be down and at home. For me, I'm still a very social person, but it was very much like, I'm going to go and do this, be out with these people that I don't even know, and go in this car that I don't even know, and like very risky things that I just didn't care at what happened to me at that point.
That's a good point too, because obviously it just shows how it can hit different people differently based on your personality and how you are too. So I like that.
Yeah.
What can people expect, attending your workshop, and kind of what are you going to kind of take them through? Obviously, you don't want to give everything away, but just a little bit of a roadmap of what they can expect and what they might see.
Free Your Feet and Your Mind, sponsored by Vibrant Five Fingers, is going to be a great workshop. And my workshops are very positive, very resilience oriented. We're not going to be sitting here talking about our sadness and worry for the entire time. I like to...
the words, right?
Right, yes. But we do want to bring some awareness to that. So we're going to talk a little bit about kind of what her stress, and get into some mindful exercises and just some things that you can do when you're starting to feel those stress levels elevate. Meanwhile, we will be able to try on some Vibrams and then do some body awareness exercises, as well as some functional just exercises, some balance, stability, and see a little bit of strength exercise, but nothing too crazy. Again, I'm not doing too much as far as that, but it will be an amazing workshop to bring some mind-body connection and awareness.
Love that. And what are you looking forward to the most? What are you most excited about from doing this?
Now that I've seen this Nucleus space, I'm very excited for people to come and see it, like especially people that have not been here. This is a really cool space, and I'm looking forward to connecting with people and also just helping people get a little bit more connected to their mind and body.
Love that. And I appreciate you, and I'm super excited. I know everybody's going to have a blast when they come out there and experience what you have to offer. Question, because I want to ask.
Yeah.
What do you want to see change in the health and fitness wellness space? And when I say what do you want to see change, like what do you want to see change for the positive? And then I can also throw in there, what do you like that's going on right now? And then what would you like to see change? Okay,
I'm gonna start with the positive. I like that there is more of this wellness aspect coming in, and people are bringing in some of that mindfulness and awareness into the space that is starting to become more whole person, and that I do like that. I would like to see a little less, or I would like to see more of connection and less like comparison and competition. I'd like to see healthy competition, right? But when it comes to, I'm just thinking of like, especially when it comes to coaches, and there's a lot of
are you seeing it more in person, more online? Like,
I guess I'm kind of sitting in the online space. I'm thinking of right now, and just this I want to see more collaboration.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, I want to see more collaboration, and just people coming as they are and being committed to making this a lifestyle. I think it's like getting out of it just being a check off the box, and like people building more healthier lifestyles around fitness, and then even just how we eat. And we need to get back to like eating whole foods and things like that is how we're supposed to be eating. That's not a diet. It is literally how we're supposed to.
That's a whole combo in itself.
Like just making this a lifestyle and it becoming more natural for people.
Love
I'd love
that.
to see
Immersing yourself in a full on experience, the way you should be experiencing it. So
Yeah, and less about aesthetics and more just like I'm doing this for longevity, for help to be healthy.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you heard it. We are excited. We're gonna have Maya over here at the Nucleus Nirvana Summer Sizzle and Sweat Experience, July 20th. Guys, it's gonna be an all-day experience. We're talking about 6:30 in the morning till 6:30 at night.
I'm right in the middle, 12 o'clock.
She's right in the middle. She's in the sweet spot. All right. So if you're one of those that doesn't wake up too early, and you're one of those that want to stay out till later, or who knows, you might be going out later tonight. You got Maya right in the house, so she's that sweet spot for you. But guys, go show her some love. Where can people check you out and basically connect with you? Plug away.
Mental and Muscle is the brand, the LLC, Instagram, TikTok. I'm working on a website, not there yet, but Mental Muscle. Also, Maya Evans on LinkedIn.
Love it. Well, guys, get ready because it's about to be a good time. It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be sizzling. But in her workshop, you're not gonna be. Right?
We're inside.
You're inside, so that's good for you. All right. So the ones that you want to wake up that early, you don't want to break too much of a sweat, and you want to go out later.
I'm
just playing. It's for everybody. So go out there, go show her some love, and we're excited to be able to do this for you guys. Till next time.
Awesome.